It started in the dead of night, 3 in the morning, a burner phone, a secure lawyer's office in downtown Toronto. The message was short, no name, no signature, just 7 words that landed like a bomb in Montecito. The vault is opening. I'm done protecting you. For 4 long years, she had been silent, watching, waiting, keeping secrets that could detonate an empire. Jessica Mulroney was never just a stylist. She was never just a friend. She was the architect behind the image, the fixer behind the curtain, the woman who knew every passcode, every private meltdown, every strategy whispered when the cameras were gone. She planned the wedding, styled the fairy tale, held the secrets. And then she was erased, not faded out, not distanced, incinerated. A single scandal, a social media firestorm. And suddenly, the woman who had stood closest to the throne was abandoned without a word. No defense, no phone call, no quiet support. The silence was total. People close to the situation now claim it wasn't an accident, it wasn't bad luck, it was a controlled demolition because Jessica knew too much. And now, according to sources familiar with sealed legal filings, she's done keeping quiet. Behind closed doors, under oath, Jessica Mulroney has reportedly delivered a series of explosive depositions, carefully prepared, legally protected, and devastating in scope. This isn't about dresses or flower girl fittings anymore. This is about what she says she witnessed up close long before the world ever saw a ring. It centers on 3 people: Meghan, Markus and herself, the Toronto Triangle. She says she was inside it. She watched it form. She watched it operate. And what she alleges has left Meghan in tears and Prince Harry physically sick. Jessica's words, as described by sources, cut straight through the public love story. She claims she walked in on something that wasn't physical, but was far worse. Not an affair of bodies, an affair of minds. Cold, calculated, predatory. According to her testimony, the winter of 2016 wasn't about romance at all. While the world believed an actress was falling in love with the prince, Jessica alleges something else was happening behind closed doors. She describes nights inside her own Toronto home that felt less like dates and more like strategy sessions. Whiteboards, flowcharts, notes taped to walls. Not about feelings, about leverage. She claims Meghan and Markus weren't talking about love, they were mapping psychology, studying trauma, identifying weaknesses. She alleges Markus would say things like, he needs to feel like he's rescuing you. And Meghan would practice the tears, rehearsed vulnerability, timed emotion, triggered responses. Jessica claims they laughed about how easy it was. The moment that still makes her stomach turn, she says, came just weeks before the engagement announcement. A private dinner at Soho House, Toronto. Harry stepped away to use the bathroom. Jessica says she returned to the table and froze. Meghan and Markus were leaned in close, sharing a look, not affection, not friendship, but triumph. A look so calculated, she says it made her skin crawl. She alleges she overheard them mocking the engagement ring, diamonds sourced from Princess Diana's collection. And then came the sentence Jessica says she will never forget, once I have the ring, the ghost is on my finger. He can't leave me then. And they laughed. Not nervous laughter, not awkward laughter, but the laughter of people who believed they had already won. Jessica alleges that was the moment she realized this wasn't a love story. It was a con. 2 people high on the score of a lifetime. Her testimony reportedly strikes at the very heart of the narrative the world was sold. She isn't suggesting an outside threat to the marriage. She is alleging the third presence was always there, guiding, scripting, directing, and that Meghan wasn't a victim of the system. She was the operative. For years, Jessica admits she stayed silent because she benefited from proximity to power. She thought she was part of something exclusive, something clever, until the machine crushed her too. Now, she says, the silence is over. She claims she has timelines, messages, strategy notes, receipts that allegedly show the Duchess didn't stumble into royalty. She entered with a map. And the thing Meghan fears most, according to sources, isn't exposure of ambition or tactics. It's this: Harry might forgive mistakes, but he will never forgive mockery of his mother. Jessica is reportedly prepared to testify that the mockery wasn't incidental. It was foundational. And that's where the story turns darker. Because the word disgusting is not one Jessica uses lightly. She has survived high fashion, politics, and global celebrity culture. She knows ambition. She's seen ruthless behavior. But what she alleges she witnessed between Meghan and Markus, she says went beyond ambition. It was predatory symbiosis. 2 people stripping away morality in pursuit of a single objective: acquisition. She describes one night in early 2017. Harry was in London. Meghan was hiding out in Jessica's home. Markus arrived late with press clippings and alcohol. Jessica claims she walked into her own living room and felt like she'd entered a crime scene magazine briefing. Photos of the royal family spread across the floor, faces circled, names annotated. They weren't admiring them, they were redlining them. Markus allegedly whispered strategies. Meghan allegedly marked obstacles. Be warmer than Kate. Be more wounded. Be the victim William can't be. But when the conversation turned to Harry, Jessica says her blood ran cold. Meghan allegedly referred to him not as a partner, but as the patient. The patient is responding well to the isolation therapy. And they laughed. Not about love, about control. A man pouring his heart out reduced to a case study. Jessica says that's when she understood Markus wasn't protecting Meghan from the world. He was coaching her on how to deceive it. And then there was Corey. Before the prince, there was the chef. Handsome, successful, in love. Jessica claims the moment Harry was identified as viable, Corey didn't just get dumped. He got erased. She describes Meghan packing her bags while Corey was at work. Markus allegedly directing movers. No photos left behind, no notes, no trace. As if the relationship had never existed. When Jessica questioned it, she claims Meghan's response was chilling. Corey was the appetizer. Markus just brought me the main course. That's when Jessica says she realized she wasn't dealing with a friend. She was dealing with an operation. And she had been standing inside it the entire time. If the dark rooms in Toronto were the planning phase, then the wedding was the execution. To the world, it looked like a fairy tale unfolding in real time. A prince redeemed, an outsider welcomed, a modern love story crowned with history. But Jessica alleges that inside the palace walls, something else was happening entirely. She describes the months before the wedding as a looting phase. While headlines celebrated a woman hitting the ground running, Jessica claims the reality inside Kensington Palace was chaotic, calculating, and disturbingly transactional. She says she walked into Nottingham Cottage one afternoon expecting fittings and laughter. Instead, she claims she found wedding gifts stacked like inventory, boxes from global brands, luxury items sent early by dignitaries and companies desperate to be associated with the future Duchess. But there were no thank you notes. Jessica alleges Meghan and Markus were sorting, cataloging, pricing. She says there was a spreadsheet open. Markus allegedly searching resale values, silver, crystal, designer linens, not sentiment, not gratitude, net worth. According to Jessica, Markus made a comment that made her stomach drop. We should ship the good stuff to storage in Toronto. If this goes south, we're not leaving empty-handed. That's when she claims she realized the marriage was being treated like a balance sheet. But nothing, she says, compares to what happened next. The tiara confrontation. The public remembers the story. Harry shouting, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets. The press framed it as passion, love, a man standing up for his bride. Jessica alleges that rage was manufactured. She claims she was present when Markus coached Meghan on how to handle the Queen's dresser. According to her testimony, Markus framed the tiara not as jewelry, but as dominance. Accepting a lesser piece, he allegedly said, would signal submission. Jessica claims Markus told Meghan, if they say no, you make Harry scream. If he doesn't fight for you now, he won't fight for you later. And then she watched it happen. She says Meghan shifted instantly when Harry entered the room. Calm turned to tears. Tears turned to panic. Panic turned to performance. Harry believed he was defending the woman he loved. Jessica claims he didn't know he was acting out a script written moments earlier. But the moment that still haunts her, she says, wasn't about jewelry. It was about a child. The flower girl fitting. Rumors have swirled for years about what happened in that room. About tears, about tension, about a small child caught in the middle. Jessica alleges the rumors were true and worse. She claims the treatment of the 3-year-old wasn't stress. It was sport. According to her, Meghan snapped at the child, corrected her posture, criticized her movement, not because of a dress, but because of control. Jessica alleges Markus was on speakerphone during the fitting, mocking the old traditions, laughing. When Kate broke down, Jessica says there was no apology, just an eye roll. She left that room, she says, feeling physically ill, because she realized then there was no sisterhood. There was a hierarchy, and everyone, future queens, toddlers included, was expected to kneel. On the day of the wedding, as the world watched the bride glide down the aisle, Jessica claims she noticed something chilling. Markus wasn't crying, he was checking his watch. The takeover was complete. Then came the baby shower. To the public, it was a glamorous celebration. To the media, a display of star power. To Jessica, it was the moment the mask fell completely. She alleges the event wasn't about a baby at all. It was about branding. She says the guest list wasn't curated for love, but for leverage. Every invitee represented future value, media reach, protection, opportunity. Jessica claims she was listed as planner, but had no authority. Markus approved everything. The flowers, the menu, the leaks. Make it look expensive, she alleges he said. She needs to look untouchable. But the most disturbing allegations, she says, involve the unborn child. She claims she overheard discussions not about nurseries, but about trademarks, about monetization. Markus allegedly referred to the baby as an asset more than once. Jessica describes watching Meghan stare at her reflection, hand on her bump, and say, "This is our insurance policy. They can't evict us now." She says the words made her nauseous. A child reduced to a clause in a contract. The paparazzi walk outside the hotel she alleges was staged. Markus tipped them off, timed the exit, positioned the narrative. Harry, miles away, believed his wife was under siege. Jessica claims he didn't know the wolves were invited. And then came the final act, the discard. When Jessica's own scandal broke, she assumed naively that loyalty mattered, that silence would be met with support. Instead, she says she was erased. No call from Meghan, no message, just a text from Markus. Cold, clinical. "You have become a liability. Do not contact her again." Not a friendship ending, a termination. And that, Jessica claims, is when she understood the truth. She was never a friend. She was an asset. And assets, when they outlive their usefulness, are cut loose. And now the silence has shattered. The best friend has become the witness. The secrets are sealed, but the warning is clear. Harry believes he escaped. Jessica says he didn't. He's simply the last one left, and when his usefulness ends, the text will come for him too. The text will come for him too. The text will come for him too. The text